Technology is transforming the investment platform landscape at an unprecedented pace, from behavioral analytics and digital onboarding to offshore access and retirement modeling tools. Yet, despite the rapid innovation, the core of wealth management still comes down to people, trust, and relationships. In this interview, Himna Landman shares how investment platforms are evolving to empower advisors with smarter tools and deeper insights, while ensuring the human touch remains central to the client experience. Welcome, Himna, and we're jumping into question one. Investment platforms have evolved far beyond administration tools. How do you see the role of platforms changing in the advisor-client relationship over the next 5 years?
Morning, Rianette, and thank you for the opportunity. It's lovely to be here, and it's definitely a topic that's close to my heart. So we can talk a lot about the next 5 years, but I think the main point is really that investment platforms are increasingly becoming more strategic enablers rather than just the operational backbones that advisors potentially used to see us as. So over the next 5 years, I think more and more platforms like ourselves will play an active role in strengthening the relationship between the advisor and the client. And how can we do that? We help the advisor to give him more real-time insights on his client's behavior, on the performance of their contracts, and helping the advisors to have more proactive engagement with their clients. I think another key role that platforms can play is really to help advisors to simplify complex decisions by, again, enabling them with real-time insights, data, and tools to help them to service their clients. And then lastly, platforms like ourselves are very passionate to shift away from just processing transactions, which we absolutely have to do and we have to do well, but we have to help to facilitate more meaningful conversations between clients and their advisors, and also to help advisors and using data analytics to anticipate client needs and how clients' needs will evolve in future, so that advisors can give their clients more relevant advice and more timely advice. And I think that will just happen more and more in future.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing. And how you're really empowering advisor. I think that conversation of the tools are taking over our jobs is now not a conversation anymore. It's about how the tools can assist us to make the client experience so much better.
100%.
And there's often concerns that technology could make financial advice feel less personal. So how can advisors use technology to deepen those relationships with clients rather than distancing themselves from it?
Yeah, I think one thing that I just have to say, it's also our strap line, but at Momentum Investments and then Momentum Wealth, that's part of Momentum Investments, we deeply and truly believe that investing is really deeply personal. And as you say, tools are there and technology have shifted, especially over the last, the recent past, but it's really there to enhance the advisor's role and not to replace it. So we design our platforms to support advisors in delivering personalized advice at scale while maintaining the trust. I think advisors need to show empathy for clients and then, of course, judgment. And those are things that technology is really not very good at. And then I also, advisors have really they have many problems, but 3 struggles or constraints. And those hurdles are a lack of enough time to scale themselves and their practices. And then also, they've got a main focus to grow their client base. And as platforms, we are really focused in enabling advisors to overcome those hurdles. And that's where technology comes in. So technology is there not to replace the advisor, but to amplify their impact. It helps them to free up time when they embrace it. And then they can focus on what matters. And that's the relationship with the clients. And for us, that's also very important, because the more time advisors spend in front of their clients, the more the advisor can grow his or her client base, and the more the platform grows our client base, and how we can and then help those advisors. And then, as I said now, and many people are saying this, but technology enhances, but doesn't replace that human connection. And I thought I'll give a few examples, or I'm thinking about a few examples. I recently read research done in America where it shows that financial advisors on average spend more than 60% of their time on administrative tasks. And that's a staggering number. Now, platforms and technology tools help advisors to automate many of those administrative tasks, and then they can spend more time engaging with their clients and focusing on what truly matters, investment markets in this instance. And just to give a very simplistic example, when advisors submit their business digitally to us, they don't need to spend any time in sending emails, following up, sending outstanding requirements. Submitted, it's straight through, it's on the system, it's completed. That advisor can spend a lot more time on more valuable tasks, for example, relationship building or analyzing investment markets and investment performance. If I can give maybe one more example, tools like dashboards are typical examples of how we can help advisors to give them personalized insights, digital communication tools like web and WhatsApp, again, to make the engagement more seamless and help the advisors to spend less time on less value add activities. And I think we'll talk a little bit later about behavioral insights perhaps and how that can also help advisors, but I'll leave that for later. We'll see what you're going to ask me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that conversation. Just a random question in between is, are advisors embracing the tools that you are giving them? What is the uptake on that?
That is such a brilliant question. I think personally, Rianette, pre-COVID, we all said, oh, we are building all these tools and technology, and how are we going to get financial advisors to adopt them? I can tell you that 100% financial advisors are embracing the tools. We've recently rolled out a very simplified new business process for financial advisors, and the uptake has been phenomenal. Do you know why? Because financial advisors also need to make their practices more efficient. They also want to spend less time and cost on less value-adding activities, and therefore they're embracing the tools. And we, for example, are now building tools that's less focused on administration and more on investment value add. And we can see how once an advisor starts to use those tools and they can see the value for their clients in terms of investment performance and investment outcome, that they use it more and more. So I think advisors are 100% embracing technology and also starting to ask us to build some of those tools and solutions for them, which is a good place to be in.
Yes, 100%. That is absolutely fantastic. Momentum Wealth's behavioral research highlights the impact of emotionally driven investment decisions. That's a conversation that can go on for a very long time. So how can platforms help advisors proactively guide clients during the times of uncertainty and market volatility, a time we've been through recently and still probably is in?
100%. And I think we can have a whole conversation on behavioral finance and insights. But let's talk about how do we guide and how can we help advisors through volatile times? As you rightly say, we are there at the moment. And I just want to share some insights. So COVID was also a classic example for us on very volatile market conditions. And we were able to use data, which is so powerful, to analyze investment behavior of clients and advisors because they guide those clients during very, very volatile markets like the COVID cycle. And Momentum Investments does a sci-fi report, which is really insightful and worth reading. It's on our website. And during the COVID cycle, we analyzed the data and then we repeated that analysis in 2024. And it showed that investors on our platform during the market volatility destroyed in excess of 60 million rand in investment return through poorly timed switch behavior. And why does it happen? It happens because of panic and uncertainty. And then what do you do as a human? You sell when the markets are low, and then you have to buy in again when the markets are high. And during this 2024 period, we're busy with the 2025 data. The behavioral tax or switch itch tax was in excess of 4% on annual return overall on our platform alone. And it just shows you how the wrong behavior can lead to very poor investment outcomes. So how do we we help clients to change that? We haven't currently, so we do a lot of research. It's incredible, but it's still very theoretical. So what we're doing at the moment is we are designing, and I don't know how much I can say about that, but we call it I'll just mention it quickly. It's called the money fingerprint. And that really helps a client by completing a questionnaire. I know all clients hate questionnaires, but this one's so powerful. You complete the questionnaire, and then it almost classifies you as one of the investment archetypes. And it helps you to understand your own behavior based on your risk profile, your personality. And then what we are looking to do is help advisors and clients to warn them. We can see you are about to do the following because we understand your personality and we know what's happening in the market. And we're going to see how we can leverage that into something that's really useful. So something in a document is great, but something that's really practical and useful is going to be phenomenal. And yeah, watch the space. It's in progress. So, but that's just one example of how you can use behavioral finance and how emotions drive decisions to help clients and advisors.
And that leads directly what you're talking about to the fact that all of us want more personalized service, right?
Yes.
Because it's about us, and we know that the abilities and the tech is there to make the offerings personalized for me as a client. So
yes,
advisors are under pressure to do that. While also scaling their practices efficiently. What technologies and platforms and capabilities are becoming absolutely essential in helping advisors strike that balance?
Yeah, it's a tough one because whenever you read about these things, hyper personalization is a buzzword. I think across industries at the moment, and as you say, also for us, I think what is true is that scalability and personalization doesn't need to be mutually exclusive. But I do think, to be honest, we are all still learning on how to really adjust our offerings to be truly personalized. And I'll give a few examples of some of the technology that we are looking at, but we haven't perfected it yet. So, for example, there are tools available now on client reporting. What does the tools use? Also, for example, you can take the type of money fingerprint that I spoke about earlier that shows your, we call it investor archetypes in our research, but it says, for example, you are risk-taking investor, for example, or it analyzes your personality in terms of you are, for example, more a nervous investor. Then it helps you to adjust the communication style to the client according to his behavioral profile. So, for example, some clients, and we see that, needs a lot of information and a lot of detail. Other clients say, I don't understand it. The more information you give me, the more confused I get. So it helps you to adjust the level of information that you give, the language that you use, the frequency of your communication, and how you adjust it. And that is a beautiful example of hyper-personalization for investment clients. What do we do as platforms? We need to embrace that technology and enable the financial advisor. And that's why I'm saying scalability doesn't need to be mutually exclusive, because we will scale and offer that to financial advisors. And I think there are a few other examples like that where, for example, the way in which you offer dashboards to clients, it's also information, can be personalized to their needs. The other examples are pure communication tools, the way in which you write an email to a client, the way in which you answer the phone when a specific type of client calls. So we are now implementing technology in our contact center, which helps us when a client calls us, that technology will tell us, this is the client, this is the client's investor behavior type, and this is how you should deal with this client. So it's still all very new. We're all learning, but beautiful examples of hyper-personalization, and shows that it can be scalable without being very expensive, because it could become quite expensive to personalize. So maybe can I just add one more thing? Personalization doesn't mean for you as an individual, as long as it feels to you as an individual that it's personalized for me. But remember, clients are segmented. So it is buckets of segmentation based on various things.
Yeah. So from an advisor's perspective, do they get, for example, you talk about the specific ways of communication, do they sort of get templates? Is it a guide that they get from on their side? How does that work?
At the moment, we haven't implemented it yet, so I don't know if our competitors are going to look at this interview,
Okay.
but we are leveraging technology in the background or we are busy analyzing a few technology providers. And what we will do is we will customize our reporting to clients and our communication to clients according to that client's behavioral personality. So the advisor doesn't need to do it, but we give that report and that communication in the hand of the advisor. He then gives it to the client. So we do that for the advisor. We try not to push administration into their lives, yes.
Okay, cool. Retirement planning, the dear word, retirement planning has become increasingly complex. We all know that, especially with longer life expectancies and changing client expectations. How can technology help advisors have more meaningful retirement conversation with clients? Because I think it is becoming a really difficult conversation because of us living so long and so healthy these days.
Absolutely. And it is complex. I think there's no two ways around that. Retirement is a topic I'm very passionate about because as a business, we are very passionate about our retirement proposition. And we believe that those are, well, it's one of the key investment moments in a client's life journey. And I'm going to give you some examples just for interest sake, just to make it more practical. So yes, there are tools. Tools are interactive. Tools help you to project income, all of those things. And I think most people know that. I want to tell you about a little bit about what we're doing. So at Momentum, well, we've launched a very innovative product that doesn't exist in the market. Competitors are trying to copy it, but they have not yet exactly gotten it right. Where we, for example, you have a living annuity. Clients or advisors know exactly what a living annuity is. And then you have a life annuity. And currently, when you get to retirement, you have to select between the two. They're mutually exclusive. So we've combined and built a hybrid annuity product, which almost combines the best of both. So you have a living annuity product where you choose your investment components, you take the ups and the downs of the market, you can run out of your income if your capital depletes, but we allow you now the ability to augment that product with a portion into a life annuity, which is a fixed income for your known expenses, right? And now the question is, how does an advisor know which clients to put this hybrid annuity for? And that component that we plug in, we call the guaranteed annuity portfolio, or GAP. So which clients, how much of the GAP, how do I do this? Quite complex. Now you're asking, do advisors embrace tools? So what we've done is we've developed, and it's live in the market, the income illustration tool. And it's on an individual personalized client level. So what do? We say Rianette is going to retire. We put Rianette's whole profile in, your savings up to retirement, your income needs, etc. And what this tool does, it uses thousands and thousands of actuarial simulations. We use very conservative assumptions around economic performance, investment performance, etc., into the future, and we project a client's income profile over the next few years. And then we can tell an advisor, our suggestion would be, we can't give advice, we're not licensed to advise, but we can show an advisor, if you augment a living annuity with a portion of this GAP product to get the client into a hybrid annuity, how long further you can extend that client's income level for. It is a phenomenal tool. It also helps you to say, you know, are you a client that wants to leave something for inheritance for your children or someone else or not? And that tool on a personalized level adjusts, and it helps the advisor to choose the right income product or combination of products at the right income level and give them a little bit of more certainty on when we think that client will deplete its income or whether the client will be able to sustain it. And how wonderful is that to tell a client? I mean, that's all that you want to know. I'm going to be okay, or there is an 80% chance of me being okay and being able to sustain my income, or I've got a problem. I will have to change my lifestyle or my behavior because my capital is simply not enough. And that's a beautiful example of how technology and tools are practical and helping to enable retirement conversation. And I'm sure there are many other examples, but that is the one that we've built and put into the market.
That is super, super powerful. That is really a good product. Offshore investing is becoming more mainstream for South African investors. From a platform perspective, what are clients and advisors prioritizing most when choosing an investment solution? today?
This is also a whole conversation in its own,
Yes.
but I'll try and give you my top few ones. I think it depends why a client wants to externalize money. And mostly for South Africans, it's to diversify access to global markets. I mean, the South African GDP is less than 1% of global GDP. So you have to have access to global markets and currencies. I think also definitely protection around rand depreciation. It's top of mind for many clients, and inflation. And then hedging against political and economic risk, or for future international expenses. So it depends on your need. And then you have to decide what do they prioritize. I think very importantly, they have to prioritize what access to which investment instruments, sectors and markets they want, definitely. Secondly, tax, very important consideration, because you need to optimize your tax position. And then one that I thought I'll mention that's not always thought of, the jurisdiction that you decide to invest your money in offshore is critically important, and not all jurisdictions are equal. So for example, our platform, international platform, is domiciled in Guernsey. And why is that important? It talks around individual investor protection, the strength of the regulatory framework, etc. So very important when you select where and how to externalize your funds. And then the other thing that I think are important to advisors and clients are the whole compliance framework around the jurisdiction that you select. It shouldn't be too difficult to gain access. So easy access, and then things like, can they consolidate reporting between local and offshore investments, etc. But those are the main things. I know I've rattled off many of them, but your need is most important, and then solving for that in a easy, seamless from a compliance perspective, and then obviously cost and tax. Those are important.
It feels to me that there's at least 4 more interviews that can
Yeah,
from
there are
the
many
topics
things.
that we've touched on here.
Yeah.
But thank you for that insight. Data and analytics are becoming more sophisticated in wealth management. I love data and I love what we can do with it, and I love what it gives us. How important is that for advisors to embrace data-driven insights without losing the intuition and the emotional intelligence that clients value so much?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm an actuary, so I love data as well.
Yeah.
But we all know, as we said earlier as well, that empathy and judgment are very important. But one of my colleagues, it's not my wisdom, but he said data is the new crude oil. Raw data has limited value, but as soon as you start to analyze it and to unpack it, it becomes so powerful. It's a very powerful enabler. Now, I think personally, and I think most advisors think like that, if they can combine analytical insights, and we there as platforms to give it to them. We've got the resources and technology. So we need to give them the data insights, and they should embrace that, but then add their emotional intelligence and judgment to that to help them. So data provides almost clarity and objectivity because it's factual, but the advisor brings the intuition and the experience. And I think jointly it's so powerful to help the client to get to an optimal outcome. So I think if you don't embrace data, you're going to fall behind very quickly, and your client base won't grow.
100%, but that's where you come in and you assist and you help to empower the advisor to make sure that they have got that correct insights to empower the client. If you look at the future of investment platforms, what do you believe will differentiate the platforms that truly succeed from those that simply offer technology for technology's sake?
Yeah, it's also a long question. Love to do a whole interview on that. So I think it's so important for platforms to know where we want to differentiate, to focus there. But for me, I think in very simple terms, platforms that are purpose-driven, like us, we believe investment is we there to enable clients' financial dreams, and we believe investments are so personal. So we are focusing on how do we build solutions to enable client and advisors to meet the client's need, and then we look for technology to enable that. I think if you start the other way around and you look for new technology trends, etc., and you try to bake that into what you offer, then I think you miss it. So platforms that truly want to enable the client and the advisor, and then to use technology as a game changer to enable that, I think those are the platforms that will be successful in future.
I love your passion for what you do. It shines through. I think we're going to end off end off with a question for advisors, for those who deal with you, for those who are considering, for those who don't that often, your message to them.
I think for me, thank you to advisors for really changing the investment landscape and for helping our clients to really meet their financial dreams. And I would say from a platform perspective, if there's anything that we as a platform provider can do to enable you to do that even better and even more effectively and reach more clients, please reach out to us, because jointly we're in a partnership to help clients really make their financial dreams come true. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very passionate about this topic, so thank you very much.
I can see that, and I hope that we can chat soon more about some of the topics we've delved into. I think there's so much to talk about, but thank you for your time, Nina. Thank you for the passion, and it was really amazing to chat to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rianne. Thank you.
Technology is transforming.